Hi, it's Raven. Welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you guys about the first thing is about my poetry book, the very first poetry book that I had made through Amazon. It's called The Stories of My Past Loves. I did get my copy of that, so I'm gonna put in the clip so you can hear one of the poems that I have in there. I was a little sick when I did that part of the video, so that's why I look like not all that well, or it may sound a little rushed. So here's my first poetry book that I wrote. It's called The Stories of My Past Loves. So I'll be reading a poem from here. Okay, so this one's called What I Felt. Before I saw you, I was extremely nervous, overthinking, wondering how everything would go. But when you sat down next to me, I felt at ease. It looked like everything seemed to flow. I felt needed this release. I felt different than I usually would feel. With others with them, it wasn't what I wanted. More relaxed, more willing. Most I felt haunted by the past that didn't last. Before I was never asked what I wanted, never felt like I had a choice. I would forget to use my voice. I love the idea. Okay, and now I want to talk to you guys about a poem that I wrote in not last night but the night before, and it was about this panic attack that I guess I triggered myself, and I just was laying down and just started panicking, and it was like pretty bad. It didn't go away for a while. So in this poem I kind of wrote it like how I see my anxiety and depression. I see them as monsters, demons, if you will. And that's how I wrote it, like that, like they're actually monsters coming to get me. So this poem is called My Panic Room. So last night I triggered my own self, may have gotten too excited. Then I saw these two monsters called anxiety and depression. I was welcoming my guest. Everything was so silent. As I saw them going over me, they're so tall. I couldn't control them or keep them away. I sat up, I was breathing in and out. They were crushing me, sinking me lower. I was breathing and rocking back and forth, holding on to my pillow. As I cried, wanting desperately to be normal, where a little excitement wouldn't affect me negatively, my mind don't stop overthinking. I see different pictures in my head. Usually I'm like, come on, let's get this over with. I imagine they smile at me. For anyone that makes fun of me, when it's your turn, you won't be laughing. I don't wish it on anyone. It's hard to cope, to manage, but at the same time, these monsters have never left me when others decided not to deal with me. I am not a monster or a sick person. I'm still myself like I've always been. Towards the end, I say, I know you had your fun, then they go away and disappear. Okay, so I want to talk about my poem. So, on the first verse um, that I have, where it talks about me getting excited and then me panicking, um, I'm not sure why that happens to me. It does happen if I do like exercises or anything that involves some type of excitement, that I do start like panicking. And I read about it online. Some they say that it could be several different things. Some say from trauma, which that could be the case. That might have something to do with it. I'm not sure. And usually, when everything is quiet, when I am by myself at night, I do feel like, like dead silence, and that's when the thoughts come in. And usually, how I was saying how they were coming over me and crushing me, I do feel like how that's what's happening in my head, like these two big monsters just coming at me and crushing me till I feel nothing. And I was really trying to breathe, trying to, not feel the way that I have felt. And I was doing that for a while, like, trying to get rid of it, trying to calm down, and it wasn't working. And I think usually, like, I guess how my anxiety works is like I don't really hear like voices in my head. It's more like pictures that coming in and out of my head, or sometimes I see things that are not really there, which they say that's also because I do have psychosis. But I think it's more along with the depression. And I do feel if my anxiety and depression were actual monsters or demons, I do feel like they'll be laughing at me. That's like the image I place in my head when that's going on. And I think I have this certain I think I have this certain issue like with certain exes that they know like what I have, and I guess to get back at me if they're mad at me, they'll be like laughing at me. So that's when I'm saying, well, when it's your turn, you're not gonna be laughing. And a lot of times, like I wanna let go of the panic or the pain, but at the same time, I'm like, well, that's the only thing that never left me, because usually when people find out, about all this stuff you are, a lot of times they don't want to deal with you. They're just like, no. And I feel that that is true for me. A lot of people, they like when I'm fun and this and that, but when it comes to the emotional side, they don't want nothing to do with it. And the part of that I'm not a monster or a sick person, I feel like sometimes, because I do this pretty often where I space out and I'm really trying to pay attention and I really don't know what happens. I just go off somewhere. And then to hear, like, oh, you're sick again or you're doing it again, it doesn't really help. And I wish people wouldn't say that because I don't want to be known as, oh, the sick person. Oh, she's that. Doesn't feel great. And then towards the ending where I say, I know you had your fun, I really did feel like that because as the anxiety was going down, and then I had crashed out onto his bed, that's what I thought in my head. I go, well, you know, you two symptoms had your fun, making me go through all those things. And that's the poem that I wrote. I really do like writing about mental health, relationships, like really everything. It's like therapy for me, and it's more like a release to keep doing different stuff. And I find like it's hard for me to write. If you tell me to write about a tree, I probably wouldn't really do it. Okay, so if it's about a tree, like I said, I probably wouldn't be able to write about it. Maybe it's something I should work on to write about simple things, but mostly it has to be like something I'm passionate about or something that's really happening, that's really affecting me. Then I could write about it. Or sometimes if I'm hearing music, that will help me to start thinking about stuff to write about along with the music. So that helps. So just let me know what you think.